ch66, the parents. The Juggernaut was sinking. That massive floating vessel, that mighty dusty structure, was slowly being swallowed by the sea. As water floated, the station fires were washed out and steam hissed into the air. The main platform disappeared beneath the waves, and then only the buildings and towers still stood above the surface. Soon they'll also disappear, and the entire station would be lost. On the roof of the control tower, and the entire station would be loose. On the roof of the control tower, below the twinkling stars, Roz was speaking with the skis. She explained that the fleet of clean-up robots was coming to stop the poison tide and remove it from the ocean. At least that's what the humans had promised. For now, though, the deep-sea menace robot kept working and the poison tide kept flowing. The humans told me to go home, said Roz, but I cannot let the poison tide destroy more of the ocean while we wait for the cleaned-up robots to arrive. So in that moment, I will dive down to the mini site and I will try to stop the mini robot. Brightbill anxiously flapped his wings and squawked, "Ma, you're done enough. Do you really need to take more risks? The island needs you. Your family needs you. I need you." "Brightbill, you have not needed me since you're very young," said Roz. "Back then, caring for you is that what gave my life suppose. Now that you are grown up, I have another purpose. Now that you are grown, I have another purpose to protect the island and the ocean and all of the wilderness. This reminds me of someone I met on my travels," Roz continued. "I met an octopus whose whole purpose in life is to take care of her eggs. She still spends her very last breath watching over them, and before they hatch, she will die. She will never meet her own children, and yet her love for them is already so strong that she will sacrifice herself to protect them. If necessary, I am ready to sacrifice myself to protect what I love as well." In a soft voice, Brightbill said, "I think I understand. I will do anything to protect our goslings." So would I, said Glimmer. "It's funny, but long ago, parenthood wasn't even on my mind, and these days our goslings are all I can think about. As we speak, I can feel myself being pulled back to them, like gravity." "Those are your instincts telling you that it's time to go home," said Roz, "and I agree." "We'll wait for you, Ma," said Brightbill, "and then we'll all go home together." I will love that," said Roz, "but this could take hours or days or weeks or longer. I simply do not know what will happen down at the mini site." Brightbill sniffed and wiped his eyes. "Ma, I'm worried that our goslings won't get to meet you." "Do not worry," said Roz in a cheerful voice. "I know the situation seems impossible, but your mother is quite good at dealing with impossible situations." A little smile appeared on Brightbill's face. Then he and Glimmer hopped onto the robot's shoulders. "I love you, Mama," said Brightbill. "I love you, son," said Roz. "I love both of you. Now, go tell my goslings I love them too." Our friends hugged each other. Brightbill and Glimmer lifted up on the breeze. Roz dove off the station and into the sea. Chapter 67. The Geese. Long after Roz had disappeared into the ocean, the geese kept circling through the night sky. It was hard for them to leave, knowing that she was going to face the mini robot on her own. While they flew, the geese couldn't take their eyes off the Juggernaut. The station was sinking and drifting on the current, steadily, and various structures went under. until only the control tower was visible. And when that tower finally slipped below the surface, the juggling was gone. Glimmer flew closer to her mate and said, "We should go home. Your mother will meet us back on the island someday soon." Brightbill quietly replied, "It feels like we're abandoning her." "We're not abandoning her," said Glimmer. "Your mother is tough and smart. She doesn't need us, but our goslings do." Glimmer was right. The goslings couldn't see their parents in days. They must have been terribly worried. Brightbill circled around one last time, and he said it to his mate. "Let's go home." Chapter 68. The Deep Dive. Our robot swam down into the deep, dark ocean. She brightened her headlights and noticed that debris was scattered throughout the water. Equipment supplies had fallen from the station and were sinking to the bottom. The debris gradually dripped away, but the robot continued straight down, deeper and deeper. Ross heard a grinding noise coming from far below. The noise grew louder as she descended. Dust clouds appeared, and suddenly the poison tide was everywhere. She swam on through the cloud as the green noise grew louder still. When Ross emerged into clear water, she saw a steep mountain rising from the depths. Strong currents blew off any and sand and slipped, and what remained were slopes of bare, craggy rock, grinning across the mountain top. Stirring up those clouds of dust was the mighty robot. At last, after months of searching, Ross had reached the source of the poison tide. Chapter 69. The Mighty Robot. The underwater mountain was made of rock, and that rock was made of rare tectonic materials. The same materials were needed for building robots and computers and our kind of technology. So a mighty robot had been set down to remove the materials from mountain. The mini robot resembled a gigantic crab. His body was as big as a house. He had long legs and a pair of giant claws, and spotlights beamed out from his eyes. What looked like his mouth was actually a grinding tool that could crunch through the hardest rock. Etched on the mining robot's back was his name, Crusher. There was a rhythm to Crusher's movements. He surged forward and tore at the rocky ground with his grinding tool. Then she scooped the piece into huge storage bins. Then he surged forward again. Ordinarily, the Hydro robots would visit each day and haul the broken rocks up to the station. That rotten had gone on for months. An underwater mountain of minerals had slowly grown smaller. Electronic signals were sending back and forth between Crusher and Juggernaut. It had now been several hours since he left her from the station, but the robot wasn't concerned. In those extreme conditions, the signal would frequently cut out. He just kept working as he waited for the signal to return. At that grinding of rocky materials created great clouds of toxic dust, which streamed away on the currents. Ross wanted to cut an end to those dust clouds, but to do that she could have to stop Crusher. She was no match for his size and strength. Our robot would have to rely on her wits. Ross carefully crushed the mountaintop, crawling around boulders and leaping over wide cracks in the ground. As she approached Crusher, she reached for any button or wires or control panel on his body, but he was completely encased in thick armor. She felt something like fear at this idea of confronting the monstrous machine, and yet she pushed that fear from her mind and bravely marched out from the shadows. Crusher was so focused on his work that he didn't notice Roz until she was standing right in front of him. His thunderous greening tool powered down, and dust clouds drifted away, leaving the water quietly and clear. "Hello, Crusher. My name is Roz." Crusher's deep voice rumbled. "Were you sent here by the Juggernaut?" Roz hesitate. "Well, no, not actually. However, I did have a conversation with." Crusher quickly computed that Roz didn't belong there, so he swung one of his giant claws, pushing her aside, and she went tumbling over the rocks. The shot rattled Roz's computer brain. But then her recover program, her headlights dimmed and her vision flickered. But then he recover program activate, and soon she was back to her normal self. Dust clouds bloomed around the mini robot as he resumed working, and then that little robot Roz marched back into the light. Crusher swung his claws again, and this time Roz jumped out of the way, so he blasted his sound cannon in her direction. Blah, blah. The powerful sound shook Roz's body and overwhelmed her systems. Her limbs froze. She toppled over, but her recovery program did its job. A moment later, she swam off to a safe distance. Noisy and dust filled the water as the mini robot returned to his work with his thick armor, his giant claws, and his powerful sound cannon. Crusher truly seemed impossible. Roz was losing hope, but then a small shape gleamed in the darkness high above. It was one of the ancient sharkfish companions. She darted down to the mountain top. Over to Roz. "I have an urgent message from Guri," said the fish. "You are not safe here," said Roz. "The poison tide is drifting toward us." The fish ignored her warning. "Please listen closely," she said. "Gary has a plan to destroy the mini robot." "It is impossible," said Roz. "You must leave. The poison tide is coming." "Listen to me," shouted the fish. "For Guri's plan to work, she needs you to distract the mini robot. You must not let him move or stir up the poison tide. Do you understand?" "Yes, I understand," said Roz. "Now, go. The poison tide is here." The fish dropped off right before a dust cloud swept past. Roz was briefly lost in the poison tide, and when the cloud cleared away, you saw the fish disappearing back into the darkness high above. Chapter 70. The Lie. Once again, Roz marched into the light. Crusher watched her approach, but before he could fire his sound cannon, our robot called out to him. "I misspoke earlier," said Roz. "I actually was sent here by the Juggernaut." Roz was lying. She needed to destroy Crusher from his work, and her plan was to confuse him with lies. Reader, I don't recommend lying. Telling a lie will almost always lead to more lies, which will lead to more lies. And pretty soon you can't keep track of them all. And then the truth comes out and everyone knows you lie and you feel horrible. Telling the truth makes life much simpler. However, this was one of those rare occasion when lying really was the best course of action. The station is completely fine, Ross lied, but it is having communication problems. I was sent here to deliver you new orders. Crusher, you have been ordered to stop all mining activity. Await further instructions. The lie seemed believable enough, and Ross felt something like pride in her scammed until Crusher's voice rumbled. What is your command code? Ross didn't have a command code. She didn't even know how to lie about a command code. How many numbers were in such a code, or would it be made of a letters? Ross, our robot scrolled through her computer brain, but find no helpful information, so he stole for time. What is your command code? She said. What is an exact question? I'm very glad you asked. Our have one, but I'm under strict orders not to tell you my connect code until you tell me your connect code. Crusher was losing his patience. He said, You have 10 seconds to state your command code. As I explained, said Roz, if you state yours, I will state mine. You have 5 seconds to state your command code. I'm curious, said Roz. What will happen if I do not provide a code? Crusher had lost his patience. He lunged at Roz and snatched at her with both claws. As you know, our robot had recently discovered that she could fight, and when Crusher attacked, she defended herself with force, swinging her fists and kicking her feet in a blur of speed and strength. She piled the claws with a rapid clang, 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 but Crusher was just too big. He easily grabbed our robot with one of his giant claws, and then he held her tight. Roz and both tried to break free. She knew the claw wouldn't budge.